What was the thought process? You just felt like, hey, I think I can do this better. Tell us a little bit more about Binance, a little bit, how it went from 2018 to 2020 and the recent surge with, we have like pre-Elon Musk era and post-Elon Musk era for crypto. So do you think there might be Indian companies who might, go ahead and try to announce that, hey, we invested some of our cash in Bitcoin? Do you see that happening anytime this year? Even though we say the world is flat, as you said, when it comes to the financial world, it is still protected by boundaries and everything. If somebody wants to launch their own token, how do they even go about it? Are there any consulting companies who will build it for you? And how did you go about? Hey guys, this is Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. And today we have Nischal from WazirX in this webinar today. So today we are going to have a casual discussion with Nischal and take a little bit of behind the scenes view into his entrepreneurship journey. What is WazirX, future of crypto? So that's about it that's what is going to be. So Nischal, welcome to the webinar. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks for inviting me on the show,
Yes.
Deepak. And I'm excited about answering whatever questions you might have for me.
Yes. So Nischal, we usually do this. We just go by the timeline. So give like a short, like maybe 5-10 minute intro on when did you graduate? What was your first entrepreneurship project? Were you in a job for a while? And I believe that you definitely have a little bit of inclination towards digital marketing and social media because you are running Crowdfire, if I'm not wrong. Still running it.
So now I've moved out. I'm focusing on WazirX, but I did run it for a very long time.
Yes. And, so yes, over to you. So just let us know about how the journey has been, since graduation maybe.
So it's been a long journey. I'll try to sort of compress it in the interest of time. And then if you want, feel free to ask me questions around it.
Sure.
I graduated as a software engineer and I took up computer science. And the 4 years of college was, I would say, it started with me thinking that this is just going to be another 4 years. But I think college sort of shaped my, views on software development in general. Because I think it was a 4th year where I got the taste, or the 2nd year of engineering, where I got the taste of how you could actually just sit anywhere you want, and if you have a computer, you can create things that are interesting. Compared to any other field, I think in computer science, what happens is you just need a computer. You don't need any other thing, and just the willpower to do something. Because in mechanical engineering, I could see my friends, they needed stuff, they had to go out and buy them, and then do some physical work. Out here, I could just, sit in my free time and create software. So that gave me this whole confidence that I don't need to have lots of money in my bank or a lot of people to help me. I can just do things on my own. And that's how I think I spent the better half of my college just trying to build things. And from there, I got through campus into a company in Bangalore, and I worked for about 2.5 months. And after that, I got into a startup called burp.com, which was back then it was the biggest restaurant review website. Yes. After that, obviously, then Zomato came and the story changed. But this was like the early days of internet startups in India. And I worked there for about a year and a half, I think. And that gave me the whole insights into how startups operated and what startups were. But because before that, I was in a corporate job. And for me, when I looked at a corporate in a company, large companies, it's very hard for you to even imagine that you can build a company, because you see thousands of people and so much of infrastructure and all that. So I think you just give up on the fact that you can build. Then you go into a startup and you see these 20-30 people actually making a difference. That gives you the confidence that you could also probably build a company someday. So I think working in a startup is very important if you plan to start something on your own. And that gave me that whole thing that I could build something. And then I continued building on the side. So my entrepreneurship journey was not where I said one fine day, let's become an entrepreneur. It was more, I would say, a journey for me with my job. And I used to build things on the side during the weekend. I used to go back home and code till late night, something or the other, testing out. So one of the product happened, one of my weekend project happened to be Crowdfire, where I was thinking of a feature that I wanted for Twitter, and I did not find it, so I built it on my own. And I put it out, and surprisingly, more people wanted it. So they started sharing it with their friends. It started going viral, and eventually, it reached a stage where I was making more money, from that than my job was paying. So the decision was simple, like your salary versus what you're making in your side project. When that equation changes, it was easy for me to quit my job. So I didn't. I hear a lot of entrepreneurs who say they quit their job. They don't have any. They use their savings to, go forward when they're building companies. For me, my first product started making me money. That's why I quit. And this was the day when funding was not a big thing.
Yeah.
So I had to make money to be able to grow my company. So I quit my job, and then slowly and steadily started hiring people I worked with first. And this is one of the questions people ask: how do you build your team? And this is where it's important to be able to work in some good companies where you meet people who are smart. So when you start up, it's easier to hire them because you know them, you trust
Have the
them.
network.
Yeah, versus when you go out just on your own and don't know anyone around, it gets difficult. Uh, See, ultimately, startups are a function of the people that make it. So you need to, surround yourself with smart people. So we did this, and Crowdfire, as you know, it kept growing. In fact, we crossed over 20 million users in about 7-8 years of existence. And now it's a healthy, growing startup. It's had its up and down because of the API issues with all these social networks changing their rules again and again. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I moved into decentralization and cryptocurrencies, because this is that world where nobody tells you what you can and cannot do. It's a decentralized world. Nobody owns anything. If you're building on top of these giants like Twitter and Facebook, the problem is when you become too big, they will try to eat into your business, and they'll try to cut you off. And you've seen this happen everywhere. It's happened with large companies like Zynga and a lot more. So no one's going to be treating you like a partner. They'll cut you off the moment they see a business from your line of work. So I always tell people that don't build on top of centralized products, because eventually sooner or later they'll cut you off. So yeah, that's been my journey. And then WazirX, we started it in 2018. And in 3 years now, we are the largest in India. We do hundreds of millions of dollars in trading volume every day. And it's been a really good journey, and that's ups and downs of the whole regulatory uncertainty. But I think I see that more as it's part of the journey. If you are in something very innovative, you're going to hit roadblocks.
Yes.
Now, how to navigate and how to circumvent all these things, you'll have to learn. It's the first time for me. I'm a software developer. I don't really know how regulations work. And in general, if you look at it, most of us don't know how regulations work because we've all been born into regulation. We've been born into things which already existed. So it's very hard for you to mentally think, oh, you're in a sector where there is no regulation, there are no rules. And then there's this whole fight about government banning it, or will the government allow it. So a lot of ups and downs happen. But I think the fun is the fact that it is an innovative technology, and that's a lot to learn about. So I think that keeps it interesting.
Yes, fantastic. So thanks for giving like the entire thing in a short 5-minute rundown. So I would like to ask more about let's say in 2018 you got this inspiration to start something around decentralized thing and blockchain. And at that time, we already had a few players in India, right? We had Coin, we had ZepPay, and it just feels like they got the first mover advantage and they are here to stay. So what was the thought process? You just felt like, hey, I think I can do this better, and decided to enter. And while you tried to enter, obviously, you had to have some backup, some co-founders, some investor interest. Otherwise, such a complex thing like an exchange cannot be just, coded from your bedroom, or maybe you can, I don't know. So tell us a little bit more about that.
No, I think you're right. You can't code an exchange from your bedroom. You can build single feature apps. just one feature app. An exchange is like a complete system in itself.
Yeah.
I think the question here, see, when you start thinking of building something, there are usually two things that you could go, the two directions. One is innovation, where you're the first to market. The second is competition, where you're going to be the better to market. Now, my first company was, it was more innovative. Crowdfire was innovative. It was the first to market. And the benefit there is you can go out to market with the shittiest of product, the worst of products. Nobody cares because there's nothing to compare it with, but when you are going into a competitive landscape, the term itself, you need to be better than the rest, which means you'll have to make sure that you are building something which is really solid before you go to market. So this is one of the decisions that I think as a founder you should take. And I've seen many founders making a mistake where if they have something innovative, also they want to perfect it, they want to make it better. So they spend 3-6 months building the product. And when they go to market, they realize that nobody wants it. Why is because you have not tested your idea. But when you're competing and if you go fast, then the problem is people already know there's a better option out there and you're going to fail. So this understanding is very, very important. What are you up against? If you don't have a competitor, go fast so that you learn what the market wants. And if you have a competitor, see what the market wants from the existing products. So in the second part, when we were launching an exchange, we were not the first exchange. And so now the question is, what gave us the confidence to launch another exchange in India? We were probably the last exchange before that whole banking ban came. So the first indicator was I would say the ratings of different exchanges that existed back then. They were really poor. And I realized that the market is not really rewarding anyone in the right now. And there's a lot of discontent in people. So that gave you an understanding that people are not satisfied. The second thing I saw was that all of these exchanges, see, you're going to put your money on a cryptocurrency and you're going to buy something. You are going to do that on a platform you trust. And ultimately, you will trust a platform where you know the people behind it. And I could not really see who the founders were, or they were not very popular. They were not talking about what they were building. So I realized that there was a trust deficit in this whole sector in general. Yes. And 2018, when we were launching, it was also a time of a lot of scams happening in the crypto sector. So I identified that there was a trust deficit. And when we launched, our tagline even today is India's most trusted crypto exchange. We made it a point to bring trust into the sector. And the way you bring trust is by putting yourself out in front of people. See, you can always build the best of brands. But if you do not connect with people as individuals, it does not matter. I'm going to trust you now that I've spoken to you. Versus some brand that I've maybe heard about, but I don't know who the people are behind it. So tomorrow, if Deepak launches something, I'm going to trust it because I know Deepak. Yes. I know, and that trust level is unbeatable. Yes. You meet someone on the street, once you talk for 5 minutes, you trust that person. So that's how we decided that we will bring trust. And we decided that we'll build an amazing product. So good thing was I had a good team with me. So we, a bunch of us got together and we said, let's build it really solid and really well made for Indians. And with that objective, we started. And now, again, I didn't want to be still overconfident and, launch it. So I wanted to still test out, is there a need in the market for this product? So what I did is I posted about the exchange and I said, we are going to build this. We hadn't started building. I just wanted to see. So we put a pre sign up page on our website saying we are going to build it. The idea was if not enough people come, then maybe we don't need to build it. Surprisingly, in the first week or week and a half, I think we got over 40,000-50,000 people signing up. Okay. So that showed that there is need in the market, because people were signing up in large numbers, and that meant people were still looking for alternatives. So that gave us the confidence. Then we quickly started building, and I think it took us 2.5-3 months to build the first version. Okay. But that was necessary because if we had, we were promising trust and we promised a lot of things. But if you don't have a good product to back up what you promise, then it's not going to work out.
Yes.
So we took our time, and after 2 or 3 months, we launched our first version. And then after that, a lot more things happen. Of course, see, it's also not where you do one different thing and you win a market. You have to do consistently do things differently.
Yes.
And it's like you're chipping into a block of wood or something, and you want to get across. It's not going to be one blow. You have
Yes.
to keep chipping off parts of it. That's what your competition is. You have a small maybe a small I don't know pointy object that you have to scrape through. You don't have like a large you're not a large company, so you don't have a bulldozer to those through.
Yes.
So that's how you build a really great brand and product and win a market. It takes time. It's never going to be a one hit wonder.
Yes. Yes.
And if you see our journey also, we've been consistently doing things better and different than our competitors to keep growing the business. So yeah, I can't give you a magic bullet out here, but
Yeah.
I can tell you different
Yes.
instances.
Being someone who has been in the same journey, I can totally relate to it. In fact, it made me think about Shawshank Redemption. It's like, building a small startup with a small team. It's like you just have like small tools, but you just have to be like consistent at it. And after a few years, you put enough pressure that it goes through. And some of the things that you said are totally relatable. Like, for example, if you are new to the market and trying to go from 0 to 1, then you have to move fast. And I think that's where move fast and break things comes from. But people who are building in competitive markets, and when it has already gone from 0 to 1 and they are trying from go to 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, you can't like move fast and break things. You will just break things end of the day. And
Right.
I have been recently very bullish on Cardano, and I have been following Charles Hoskinson diligently. All his updates I see. And I think what he is doing is also similar. He has been building Cardano for like 6 years. And he says like move slow and don't break things, build it better so that when it's time to scale, it can scale without, hitting a glass ceiling. So I think that is what WazirX is doing. And from my personal experience of having used multiple exchanges in India, I think the usability wise, speed of transaction, I think WazirX is like, totally, good. So anyway, I wanted to ask like, okay, so now you started in 2018 and, regulatory uncertainty. I think Binance has also invested in you, I think, which is a great thing. And you launched WazirX token as well, which is WRX. I have also bought some WazirX token. And I think there is still a lot of regulatory, confusion right now, but I think this is going to be the future. It's like you cannot stop internet. This cryptocurrency and blockchain, I don't think it can be stopped. And even I am thinking of launching my own token sometime in the future. So tell us a little bit more about Binance, a little bit, how it went from 2018 to 2020, and the recent surge with, we have like pre-Elon Musk era and post-Elon Musk era for crypto. And now things are very exciting. So tell us a little bit more about the journey from 2018 until now, and a little bit more about WRX as well.
Sure. See, I think the idea of WRX came right in the beginning, and
Okay.
the thought process was that since it's all about crypto, and if you look at this, the whole token economy that exists, there's a lot of things in that, but one of the primary objectives of the token economy is to reward the community and take the help of the community to grow what you're building. And that's a beautiful thing, and that's also one of the primary reasons why crypto will win eventually, because crypto is not about one man or one person or one team. It's about an entire tribe of people who believe in that. When you believe in, let's say, a traditional product, let's take for example google.com, you're going to use it, but you'll never fight for it. You really don't care what your friends use or
Yes.
what others use. But if you're into a crypto project, you're going to fight for it. You're going
You
to
have
promote it
ownership.
because you have ownership, right? And it is also important to have this ownership, because if you think about the traditional products, when you use a Google, and if you tell your friends also and everyone, you as a user never benefit from that. And I've seen this happen to me. I've been early adopter of a lot of products. In the early days, I knew these will go big, but I never had the opportunity to be, a participant in that from a financial point of view. Why? Because they will only give it to VCs and investors and all. The regular people will only get it when they IPO eventually, where the growth is already done. What are you giving us? But in this, you get to be a participant from day one. So that was the thought process behind WRX as well, that if we are going to launch and if we are going to have early people using our product, they are the ones who are going to tell everyone else about our product, and we should be having a way for them to be rewarded. So with that thought process, we launched WRX. And the use case was very, very simple and straightforward, that if you pay with WRX, your trading fees are going to be 50% off for you in whatever amount you pay. How did we reward people was, we said that the first X people who signed up will get, let's say 500 WRX. Then after that, if the next batch who signs up will get 250 WRX. And like that, we made a very simple reward program. And we started distributing WRX. And this helped a lot because we were not charging for the tokens, we gave it away for free. And then we had the use case for the token, which is you can get 50% off on our trading fees. So people started referring their friends and families and getting everyone on board. And that helped us a lot in the initial days. After that, so that was one of those other significant moments for us. After that, the banking ban happened in India, and quite a few exchanges were shutting down. And I think that happens because sometimes when you grow big, you also forget that you were small ones, and you used to do whatever it takes to grow. That complacent, attitude is what kills a lot of companies. For us, we had just launched, and the banking ban was announced. So for us, it was a matter of, we were already at ground zero. There was nothing to be afraid of. And we figured out that you can build a better way to transact even with the banking ban. And that was the P2P or peer-to-peer system that we built. And we were the first in the country to launch it. So what happened is others were shutting down or going out of the country. All the people who were into crypto started flocking towards WazirX. And that again gave us that push into becoming larger and a significant player in the industry. So I think these were some of the 2018 initiatives that helped us. Of course, with that, there's a lot of other things that we do really well. Our support is one of the best. Of course, right now what is happening is we're bombarded with tickets right now, and we are hiring more people. But that's the speed at which you can hire people versus the speed at which someone can send you an email. They're really different. So we are a little delayed right now in the responses, but otherwise we've always been top of the industry in responding to our customers. So these things happened then in 2019. Towards the end of 2018, one of the things I did was, and this was not about the company so much, it was more about the industry. And for India, I started this India Wants Crypto campaign. And the objective was that, what was happening until then, until I started the campaign, was there was a lot of confusion. People had a lot of misunderstanding, and there was no one spreading information because everyone was doing their own business. Everyone was busy making money and making products and all. No one was really thinking what has to be done from a country point of view. How do you progress your nation? If we all keep thinking about our companies only, who's going to think about how does the nation progress?
Yes.
And I said that while we can all do a lot, one of the most important thing was, how can you spread the right information about crypto in India? Because if you do that, then what happens? Everything else is automatic. Knowledge is the only thing that people need. You don't need anything else. After that, you progress as a nation. So I started this India Wants Crypto campaign, and surprisingly, the whole community really joined together, and everyone started tweeting about it and talking about it. International media started covering it. So that gave a lot of, I would say, push to the crypto industry in India. And as the industry grows, if you think about it, you're part of it, you also grow. So your growth becomes like a normal, I would say, a follow-on thing. You don't have to worry. The industry is growing, you're growing. So that helped us. That was the other. Then in 2019, I was, while we did all this, I think we had crossed the 0 to 1 phase. And I wanted to understand, how do you now scale this up? And I've done this in my previous company, where I've gone from, let's say, $1 million to 3 million in about 12 to 18 months. And that sort of seems slow to me now the second time around. Because in my first company, it took me maybe, I think, 2.5 years to go to the first million. And out here, we did it in maybe 12 months or something. So I wanted to expedite the next step as well. And one obvious step to expedite your growth is to get in enough capital, because with capital, you can grow. So I started looking out for funding, and then I came across BINANCE. And when we spoke, one of the things about BINANCE is it's been that it is one of the fastest growing company in the world. The scale at which, the speed at which they've scaled is amazing. So when I started talking to them, I realized I could take their money, but even more importantly, I had a lot to learn from them. And that's where we made this whole deal with them. And we get to work closely with them and understand how they operate, and inculcate some of that into our teams as well. And so 2019 was all about learning and scaling up, and that effect we see today, where we've grown about 10x in the last 10 to 12 months. And we've gone from, I don't know, $5-10 million a day in trading volume to today over $100 million a day. And that, I would say, while there's a lot of our efforts as well, but when you learn from someone who's already done it, you do it faster. So, and I think, while either you can get a company, or this is where even advisors help you, because, see, it's not like you won't reach your destination. You will reach it. And there might be 5 paths, one is right, but you'll have to go through each one of them.
Yes.
But if you have an advisor, the advisor will tell you which is the right path. And that is where what you do, you save your time. So the only thing in a startup is, how do you save your time? How do you expedite what you do? If you keep thinking about it, you'll keep coming up with solutions. And for us, this was that. This was like, we want to go from A to B. What can get us faster is someone who's seen this road. And crypto is something that it's a new sector itself. So I didn't find a lot of people in our country to help me out. In fact, we are one of those first generation companies in this sector, which is scaling this well. So it made sense to partner with someone international who's seen this journey. So yeah, that's how it helped. And then 2020 was all about, I think, the whole pandemic, the lockdown, where a lot of people started looking at crypto as an option, started learning. So that helped. And then now the last 3 months has been just about Bitcoin is doing its magic of going up, and the rest of the market is going up, and in that people automatically come. So see, price rise is like the largest factor why crypto grows as a industry. Because every time the price goes up, you see a large number of new people coming in.
Yes.
But even otherwise, in general, also a lot of new people come every month into crypto because they learn about crypto. It's just that this period is like the craziest, where you see, no one's ready for this space. No exchange, no product is ready for this space, and you get bombarded with a lot of requests and everything, signups. But it's fun. I think that's how you learn to scale. And eventually, I think the industry will mature and be able to handle all of this. But right now, it's crazy. It's a good time, I think.
Totally. So, just like in US, there is a lot of corporate adoption now, and they want to, save some of their money in Bitcoin. And people who even understand a little bit of, how debt-based money works, how inflation happens, would naturally gravitate into, assets which are more liquid. And I think this is the first time ever where we have an asset which can also act as a currency, because every other asset is non-fungible. And now you have something which you can use to transact, but it is also growing. So do you think there might be Indian companies who might, go ahead and try to announce that, hey, we invested some of our cash in Bitcoin? Do you see that happening anytime this year?
Announcement, I don't know, but I'm sure there are already companies which are investing. That yes. Because the thing is, with announcement, I think the regulatory uncertainty that's causing a little bit of jitters amongst companies. As individuals, I think everyone's okay. But as companies, I think there's a little bit of a worry from a regulatory point of view. So everyone's waiting for clarity. In the US also, if you see, The announcements are coming now because the last 6 to 12 months, the US government has been more clear that they are going to regulate this space. And companies there don't have to worry about anything. Out here, I think the Indian government has just started. So I think eventually they'll also, I'm pretty sure India will also regulate. When no one is banning it, no point us banning.
Yeah,
But
true.
it will take some time.
True.
So yeah, that's one. But I think what I'm seeing is a lot of companies in India are starting to learn also, because for them also it's see, us telling them won't matter, but when a Tesla buys it, or when a PayPal gets into it, or large funds in the US are getting into crypto, uh, companies in India definitely want to understand, because you want to stay competitive, right?
Yes.
Any industry, if you see your colleagues or your company similar to you doing something, you're going to have interest. And that's how this whole knowledge spreads. So I think now companies are getting in India, maybe at least a year or two before we hear such large announcements happen.
Yeah.
We'll definitely hear them, but it will take time.
So even I feel like there might be ups and downs, but in the long term, it's like you can't ban the internet type kind of thing, because I feel that in terms of transacting, and especially, when you look at IOHA project and Ethereum and what can be built on top of it, like, you can build apps which are not centralized, cannot be like, you cannot deplatform anyone. Like for example, like 2017, I was talking to my friend about like idea where can you like build a decentralized Uber, and let's say you are going from, let's say, Indranagar to ITPL, and you don't need to be like registered or anything. And let's say there is an app, and let's say I have to pay via, let's say, taxi coins, and taxi coins is something I can purchase from the exchange and pay in taxi coins, and that person can either redeem it for more rides or they can sell them, right? So that way, imagine you don't have like a central authority like Uber or Ola taking away 20-30% of the transactions. You are just like having smart contracts, and I think this will become commonplace. What do you think about some of the industries that can be greatly impacted by blockchain in the near short term? In the long term, I think pretty much everything can come into blockchain, like real estate transactions, medical records, everything. But here, let's say, considering that there might be a little bit of a positive news from the regulators, and if people want to build decentralized systems, where do people even start? And most importantly, if somebody wants to start a token of their own, like you launched WazirX, I don't know whether it is on top of Ethereum or whether it is standalone. So how do even people go about it, considering that there is no regulation problem? Where do people even start?
See, I think you asked me a lot of questions here,
Sorry.
so I'm going
Yeah.
to break them down.
You can,
I'm going to break
yeah,
them
just
down.
answer whatever you remember.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think the first part was all about where will decentralization be applied in the short term, and yeah, your the whole example about how you can have a decentralized Uber, you can have decentralization everywhere. But here's how I have a sort of a different viewpoint is that if you look at how technology works, while we think basis, it's always it enhances and makes things that are difficult, it makes them easier. And that's what the property of technology has always been, and that's why technology wins. Because if technology was to come and replace what exists, it will never be able to grow the pie. But if you look at it, technology has always grown the pie. When e-commerce comes in, everyone's afraid that everything will stop, but we still have offline stores, we still go, we still order. And but the pie has increased, the size of commerce has increased, and it's similar to that in the whole decentralization aspect. Rather than replacing what exists, I believe it will create things that probably were never possible without this technology. For example, decentralized finance, you met about the term DeFi,
Right.
and a lot of people talk about it. Now, that's not possible in the traditional world. And let me give you some insights into why it's not possible, what is happening. The greatest invention of this whole Bitcoin was the fact that they made peer-to-peer value transfer possible. What that means is I can send value to you directly without needing a middleman or a third party. which is decentralized. That's called decentralization, no central party. Before Bitcoin, the only way I could, let's say, send you value is if I instructed my bank to send money to your bank account. So that's the only way. But in the offline world, I can send you money directly by giving you a 100 rupee note, right? So that's a peer-to-peer transaction. Me and you, me and Deepak, no bank involved. I don't have to bring my bank and say, give him 100 rupees note. I can give you that note. The last time something like this happened online was the whole fact, what we call as the internet, where peer-to-peer information transfer was possible. So internet changed the world in a very positive way, because internet made possible what was not happening before, which was peer-to-peer information transfer. Now in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrency, peer-to-peer value is allowed, peer-to-peer, and the geographic barriers are removed. Which means what? Until now, you could transfer value only within your country, within your geography. So the rate of interest in India is different from the rate of interest in the US or UK or any other country. Why? Because finance today is bound by the geography we are in, right? And it just comes naturally to all of us. We are okay to accept that someone taking a home loan in the US is paying 3% interest, and you in India are paying 8% to 10% interest. You're okay with it. Today, you're okay with it. Why? Because we have lived in this world. But I believe that decentralization and this whole decentralized finance is going to break these barriers, because that's all about equality. So we will all get access to finance and financial products with the same set of rules and regulations as everyone else. That disparity will go. Like today, if you want to learn something on the internet, what is the difference between you and someone sitting in New York? There's no difference. You get access to the same information. Before you had a problem. India education, US education, they were different.
Or whatever were there only in India, we were like okay with it.
Yes. But today we don't have to worry about education and information. The same will happen to the world of tradition, the financial world, where traditional finance today is limited by your geographic boundaries. That will be removed.
Yes.
And when that gets removed, the kind of applications and products that will be possible, we cannot even imagine, because we don't live in that world.
Yes.
I would not have been able to tell you that an Uber and Ola or Airbnb would ever be possible. Which is where the problem comes, where today people say, what is so innovative? What will happen? Tell me the use cases. If I knew the use case, I'll be creating 10 more companies in this space. Everyone, those use cases will emerge eventually. One of you, some of you will come up with ideas and create companies. But the basic underlying nature of this whole decentralized ecosystem is what you need to grasp. And once you grasp that, you'll see amazing companies being built. And 10 years down the line, I think maybe I can look back and tell you these were the use cases. But today it's very, very hard to say.
Yes. In retrospect, it will become obvious. Like just like Uber and Ola is obvious, but nobody could have imagined it 10 years back.
Right, exactly. So that's all about decentness. So we try to put it into an existing world, but it's not going to fit. There's no point rewiring what exists. The fun is in wiring what cannot be wired. Doing things that are not possible today. That's where innovation will emerge. And it's going to take some time, because right now you're in the infrastructure building phase. Right now you're in the phase where internet cables were being laid out. You do not have internet everywhere.
Yes.
So this is the phase out here. It'll take some time. Having said that, I completely forgot what the second part of
anyway, I will get back to that next question. But I think that even though we say the world is flat, as you said, when it comes to the financial world, it is still protected by boundaries and everything. So my next question was that if somebody wants to launch their own token, how do they even go about it? Are there any consulting companies who will build it for you? And how did you go about building WRX?
Right. See, I think building a token is not rocket science anymore. And it's probably not as easy as building a website is today. But I think there are enough tools out there which allow you to create your own token. So token creation is a 5-minute, 10-minute job. You don't have to think too much. There are applications out there where you can put the name of the token, the supply of the token, and it'll create a token for you on Ethereum or Binance, whatever you want. the science or the struggle is in making sure that your token has use cases
Yes.
and your token has adoption amongst the community.
Mm.
And that takes all the efforts.
Mm.
Like I can build a website in 10 minutes, but I cannot
That's
tell you that this
challenging.
will be the next. Yeah, I can copy Facebook also if I want, but
Yes.
does not make it a Facebook.
Mm.
uh, that is going to be your efforts in marketing it, making it useful, enhancing it. And this is where the issue comes, that because the market is so early, a lot of people fall into the trap of there are anonymous teams saying I have a new coin which is going to be a Bitcoin competitor, so
Mm-hmm.
put into this, and people are like, oh, okay, there is a new coin.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very early days for them also to grasp it.
Yes.
Maybe 2 3 years down the line, you will laugh if someone says, hey, I have a new token, invest in. You'll ask them, what is the token all about? What are you building?
Mm.
Who are you? What is your background? Why should I trust
Mm.
that you will be able to do this?
Mm.
And this is where understanding what the team behind the token is very, very important.
Mm.
Because smart teams will make it happen.
Yes.
Teams that are not serious about what they're building will not be able to grow it,
Mm.
and they'll run away with your money also. So
Yeah.
you have to be
Mm.
very careful. But yeah, if you want to create your token, it's very simple. There are applications that will help you. But how do you spread it and how do you make
Yes.
it useful?
I think the
That you have to come up with.
biggest challenge is in marketing it, getting the adoption, building a brand, and probably giving a purpose behind it,
Right.
and all those things. Fantastic. So I think in terms of future of Bitcoins, I think we cannot get into speculation mode right now. And definitely I'm resisting myself from asking Nischal. Nischal, tell me like top 5 coins to invest money right now. So obviously there is a lot of volatility in the market, and all this happens. So let's hope so how the Indian government is going to kind of come up with regulations, and yeah, what is the meaning of WazirX and how did the name come about? I think Wazir means queen on the
Yeah,
chessboard.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a queen piece in chess, and it can make any move. And we wanted to make sure we gave our customers a platform where they can make the right moves and any move they want to win.
Mhm.
Because trading is sort of an art, and if you have the right tools, you will do better.
Yes.
So that was all. And X is for exchange, so WazirX change became WazirX.
Yes. And
Um,
WRX kind of goes along with it.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mhm. So if somebody wants to go ahead and invest some amount of money in Bitcoin, I think the number one question that Indian people have right now is that what will happen if I invest, and is there a chance that I will lose all the money? Is one of the questions that people keep asking. And I will tell you my thoughts as well. I think that first of all, the government cannot just steal people's money right from under their nose. So they are obviously going to give options to cash out. And again, if government gives an option to cash out, who will you sell it to? It cannot be other Indians. It cannot be. So it's a very tricky situation now that the 2 years the market has matured a little bit. I think that is the best thing that happened. The Supreme Court overruled the thing. So now you have like a certain momentum. But I still feel personally that your money is not going anywhere. It is safe, and people don't need to keep their money on an exchange itself, right? They can transfer it to a hardware wallet like Ledger Nano or Trezor. They can use some other hot wallet like Exodus or Trust Wallet. So yeah, from the perspective of a common man, okay, a person is like, TK boss, I have some 10,000 in the savings account. Why don't I try putting it in Bitcoin? Obviously, the markets are volatile. It might go down, but just to be part of the revolution, I encourage people to go ahead and sign up, and like 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, it's fine. But because you are invested in it, now you have an inbuilt incentive to go ahead and follow the news and learn more about blockchain and understand more about it. And I think that learning would be far more worth than what you have invested, even if there is risk. So yeah, over to you. What would you tell to the average investor who is yet to put his first 5,000 in crypto?
Yeah. See, I think the first objective should not be directly investing. It
Hmm.
should be first understand.
Hmm.
Because on the surface, it looks like, okay, if you, many people say, I've invested in the stock market, so I'll put it here also. And I know maybe from the outside, it looks similar, buy and sell, and, go. But it's a completely different approach in this market because in traditional markets, you're dealing with mature companies which have established and have revenues, and that way. Here you're working with from anywhere from an idea to an early stage, product. So for you to get into this first, start with a small amount and start with Bitcoin. Because our data says that 95% of our users buy Bitcoin as a first asset. And that's easier because Bitcoin has established itself in the last 10 years. And it's seen as a digital gold. So it does not have to prove itself too much. It's just now spreading. So you could start with Bitcoin and start with maybe 500 rupees. Buy that first Bitcoin. Spend a few days looking at the markets and then sell it and see how that whole experience was. Try to withdraw it to a personal wallet. Try to put it back into this wallet. So try all that. And once you get the hang of it after a week, 2 week, 3 week, then you can put 1,000, 2,000 rupees. And once you understand Bitcoin, read about it, do everything, then you can go to more cryptocurrencies. There is Ethereum, WRX is there, BNB is there. There are so many. But take baby steps, go one at a time. And when you start in this market, the first thing will be, oh my God, there are so many things and what is happening. And once you'll see something going 20% up, 30%, something dropping 20%. All of this over a period of time, you'll make sense of it. Don't try to learn everything overnight. It's not going to happen. Start with basic, small things, and then eventually, take steps forward. So yeah, I think I always tell them, don't rush, educate yourself. You have time. And the other is, people get worried that if they don't buy today, tomorrow is going to shoot up. So in the short term, maybe yes, but if you have a 3-year, 5-year viewpoint, then does not matter at what point you buy. In the next 3 to 5 years, that value is going to appreciate. At least looking at the history of Bitcoin, that's how it shows. So go easy. Don't have to jump all in and put all your money. Never buy everything together on day one. I don't think you should do that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think these are some of the basic things to follow.
Fantastic. Very interesting. So guys, what do you think? Are you going to invest your first 500 rupees in Bitcoin as Nischal has recommended? Fantastic. So I think you can become part of the revolution. 500 is not a big amount, but it is going to force you to learn more about it, how wallets work and anything. And maybe you can use one of your weekly assignment cashbacks to put a small amount of money. So we have a program where we reward users for milestones and progress. And as you said in the beginning of the webinar, that personal touch is very important to build trust. So I've kind of automated most of the parts of the entire edtech thing, but I still do this live webinars so that I can put my face in front of the audience and build that relationship, because I definitely think that in this day and age, people trust people. People don't trust a logo. And very much appreciated. I think one of the reasons that I feel very comfortable with WazirX is because your face keeps coming up, not so much as the other exchanges, even though they try to tweet and be out there a little bit. Fantastic.
Just because I'm in crypto, what happens is there's so many questions people have. But yeah, I think, I've been reading everything that's coming. It's you have a very enthusiastic group of, I've not seen, like it's just 200, 300 people, but the amount of interaction is crazy out here.
Yes.
I usually see this when there are 3,000, 4,000 people viewing something. But yeah, out here it's like everyone's engaged, and that was nice. And I hope I've been able to answer some of the questions.
Yes.
And it's a vast topic. Entrepreneurship itself is a vast topic, and then you put crypto on top of that. You can get fried if you try to learn everything in a day.
Yes.
But I think I hope I've been able to put some line of thoughts into some of the things.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I'm on Twitter. I'm reachable. You can message me if you need any help. Tweet to me, DM me, whatever. If I see, I'll reply. Most times I try, but nowadays it's madness. Now it's a lot of questions that come.
Yes, I saw your schedule. I think you had a 3:40 p.m. You were in a TV show today, and I think there's like a lot of things back to back. Must be hectic, especially at this time where the exchange is also testing its limits. More people are coming in, support volume is going up, but you don't want to like miss out on the PR opportunities as well. But typical entrepreneur life, been there, done that. I think February was the month where I chilled out a little bit. It's like, okay, this month I'm not launching a batch. Let's launch a batch next month. Fantastic. So guys, just say thank you, Nischal, in the chat box and show the strength of the community, maybe. So fantastic, Nischal, and definitely want to catch up with you again. On a webinar, maybe 6 months down the line, looking back how the industry has progressed since we last spoke, and maybe offline as well, where we could catch up and talk startups and business. Thanks a lot for your time. Highly appreciated in your busy schedule. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes.
It was fun. Bye.